Most men don't know what to do with their pain. Some wear it like a badge. They whine. They beg for sympathy. They compete over who suffered more. Disgusting. Victimhood on parade. The others bury it. They pretend it's not there. They lock it up, hide it, act like it didn't shape them, but you see it in the addictions. The laziness, the self-sabotage. They think they're free, but their pain owns them. And some, the most pathetic of all, try to get revenge. They waste their energy chasing enemies, trying to prove something to people who don't even matter. That's not strength, that's slavery to your own emotions. Revenge makes you a dog on someone else's leash. It means you can be easily manipulated. All of it is pitiful. All of it is chains. Real men, they don't worship pain. They don't run from it. They don't waste it on revenge. They face it. They endure it. They weaponize it for obedience to God. Society tells you to heal, move on, stay positive. That's why men are soft. That's why they collapse under pressure. They threw away their only weapon. Greatness doesn't come from comfort. It doesn't come from ignoring the fire. It comes from stepping into darkness and dragging power out of it. Pain isn't just suffering. Pain is energy, raw, violent, dangerous, and when you submit it to God, it becomes fuel for obedience. Your pain will either forge you or chain you. The enemy wants you to waste it on bitterness or distraction. God wants you to use it as fire for discipline, courage, and dominion. Darkness is not the enemy when it's mastered. It's the forge where men are built. Face the pain head on. Weak men think healing means the fight is finished. They patch themselves up, brag about moving on, and call it growth. That's not growth. That's weakness wearing a mask. Pain doesn't disappear. It waits. And if you refuse to face it, it will own you. Real men don't run. They don't hide. They face the pain head on. They stare it down until it either breaks them or makes them. And in the hands of God, pain never breaks you. It forges you. Gold doesn't grow strong by avoiding the fire. It grows strong by being melted, crushed, purified again and again until nothing worthless remains. That's what God does with men. Job sat in ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery. He lost everything, children, wealth, health, yet he refused to curse God. He faced his pain, and in the end, God restored him double. Paul begged God to remove his thorn in the flesh. God didn't remove it. He said, "My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." Even an apostle carried pain so that God's strength, not man's pride, would shine through. But weak men today, they fold at the first sting. They cry when life cuts them. They numb themselves with screens, drugs, and women. Pathetic. They call it coping, but it's cowardice. Real men let the fire do its work. They endure the cuts. They embrace the scars. Because scars are not shame. They are proof that you were tested and you did not quit. Even Christ carried his scars after the cross, not erased, not hidden, displayed. Proof that suffering was not wasted. Proof that victory was won through blood. So stop burying pain like a coward. Stop pretending you're healed when you're just hiding. Face the pain head on. Stay in the fire. Because only through the furnace will you become a man no weakness can break. Double the fire. Your past pain cuts one way. Today's insults cut another. When you fuse them, they strike the same scar and double the fire. Weak men shrug off disrespect. They laugh it away. It's nothing, they say. Coward talk. That's why nothing changes. A man of God ties it together. He welds yesterday's betrayal to today's rejection. He lets both blows land on the same scar until it burns hotter than hell. Then he moves with ruthless focus. Look at Joseph, sold by brothers, thrown into a pit, shipped into slavery. Years later, those men came crawling for bread. What they meant for evil, God used for good. Not weakness, divine strength. Every insult, every betrayal, every rejection, you can bury it like a boy, or you can double the fire like a warrior. When someone mocks you, let it echo with every earlier slight. When someone underestimates you, chain it to every wound of abandonment. Let the blows land on the same scar until pain becomes power. This fire is for obedience, for discipline, for becoming the man God designed you to be. What they meant for evil, God will use for good if you refuse to waste the pain. Take it personally. Weak men pretend words don't matter. They say, "I don't care." But that's a lie. They do care, and because they bury it, the insult rots them from the inside like poison. That's not strength, that's cowardice. That's a man too fragile to face the sting. Real men take it personally. They don't dismiss the cut. They let it burn until it drives them forward. Not for pride, not for petty revenge, but for obedience to God. Revenge is pathetic. It makes you a slave to your enemy's opinion. It chains your emotions to men who don't even matter. But obedience to God, that makes you untouchable. When you burn for him, no insult can derail you. It only fuels you. Look at David. Goliath mocked God and his people. A nation froze. David took it personally, not for pride, but for God's honor. That's why a shepherd boy ran at a giant when soldiers hid. That's why a sling and a stone dropped the warrior everyone else feared. And look around you. The mockery hasn't stopped. Your boss thinks you're replaceable. Your so-called friends laugh behind your back. Women roll their eyes and call you average. Society mocks God and despises his word. Weak men say, "It's fine, I don't care." That's why their lives rot in mediocrity. Real men take it personally. They let the disrespect cut deep. They let it sting until the only option is to build, fight, and obey. Because in the end, this isn't about proving yourself to them. It's about proving faithful to him. And no fire burns hotter than a man consumed with the will of God. Never forget. Weak men forget too fast. Comfort softens them. Success clouds their memory. They act like they built themselves. God warned Israel, "Do not forget the Lord your God when you are full and your houses are built. For the moment you forget, pride kills you faster than pain ever could." Real men keep the scars in front of them. They remember the hunger, the nights alone, the betrayals. They recall who carried them through. Memory is not weakness, it is armor. It keeps you humble, it keeps you sharp, it keeps you obedient. So do not forget. Replay the battles God brought you through. Revisit the scars that remind you you're still being perfected. Let memory guard you from pride and laziness. Warriors remember daily. Endure until it breaks. Pain is not meant to be touched once and dropped. It's meant to be carried until it either destroys you or shapes you. Weak men quit halfway. They step into the fire, but they don't stay. They feel the sting, then run back to comfort. That's why they never change. But real men endure. They stay under the weight. They let the furnace do its work until nothing soft is left. Endurance is the dividing line. Many start strong, few finish. The crown doesn't go to the first swing of the sword. It goes to the one still standing when the war is over. Even Christ didn't stop at the whip. He didn't stop at the thorns. He endured the nails. He endured the cross. And because he endured, death itself broke beneath his feet. So what excuse do you have? Your pain isn't an accident. It's an assignment. Don't run. Don't quit. Don't tap out when it hurts. Endure until it breaks. Because when it breaks, you won't be the same man who entered the fire. You'll come out forged. And no weakness will own you again. This is what separates men from boys. Weak men bury pain. They run from it. They waste it on comfort, distraction, and revenge. Real men face it head on. They double the fire. They take it personally. They never forget. And when it gets heavy, they endure until it breaks. That's how God forges a man. That's how you rise unshackled. Not by avoiding pain, but by weaponizing it. So here's the truth you can't escape. Weak men bury pain. Real men weaponize it. If this hit you, don't forget to show some love by liking the video. Subscribe for more unfiltered lessons like this. We are Unshackled Soul.